Hey guys, welcome to High Performance Living. Remember, it's a lifestyle and not something that has a start and end date. So, in this training, we're going to talk about setting up a high performance daily workflow. What does it mean? Why should you care? How is this going to add value to the growth of your business if you're building a real business and that you're not in it for these quick wins that nobody really achieves, the stuff, the bullshit that the guru marketing puts out there, make 10K in 90 days. And the reality is that between 3 to 5% of people that have joined high ticket coaching programs, all that small portion are the only people that really have achieved that level of success. But they put in a lot of hours and hard work to even get there, to even get close to it, right? So, what about the rest of the guys? What about the other, call it 90 to 95% of coaches, on entrepreneurs, online entrepreneurs, and consultants that have tried? What about them that have all run out of steam, that are still struggling to keep moving forward, jumping from strategy to strategy, from tactic to tactic, being distracted by all kinds of things that adds no value to the growth of your business right now? And the purpose of this is to help you become laser focused on the right things that's going to move your business forward right now in the short term. Right. Okay, cool. So let me bring up that slide and get straight into it. So guys, don't forget to comment, share, like, and spread the love to all those that you feel may benefit from this training. And give me feedback as well so that I can improve as well, because I don't know all the answers. I learn from others that are doing exceptionally well. So for people like Tony Robbins, people like Brendan Mashard, and people like James Clear, I learn from these people. I've joined all their kind of programs and I learn from that, and I'm passing on my knowledge through the way that I interpret it and the way that I perceive it to you so that you can add value in your life and the people around you. Okay, awesome. So high performance workflow is engine of a vehicle, of a car, and that needs to be well oiled, right? It needs to be maintained so that it can run smoothly, so that it can achieve the success in your business for the long term. Because without this, your business is not going to achieve the goals that you set out, right? So what is high performance? What is this whole hoo-ha about having a high performance daily workflow, right? It is to have structure. It is to have control of a set of activities that's going to move your business forward. And they fall at least within certain key performance blocks: morning routine, your deep work block, your shallow work, and your evening routine. And I'll touch on that a little bit more in detail at the bottom, right, in the next few slides. But what's the whole objective around having a high performance daily workflow? Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you're building a real business, you need to have structure and order, right? You need to put yourself in a position where you're always focused, laser focused, that you are productive in your efforts, that you are balanced, so that you don't feel like you are experiencing things like burnout, fatigue, and all of those things that holds us back. And then you want to make money, all right? So you want to make lots of money, whether it's 10K, 20K, be a millionaire, make six figures, whatever that might be. But you want to make more money so that you can provide for your family, take care of yourself, whether you want to travel the world, buy luxury things, but you want to have options to do whatever you like and whatever you choose, right? And that's entirely up to you, right? So what is the key objectives around setting up a high performance daily workflow, right? Is to prioritize and to, apologies for the pinging, prioritizing and planning tasks effectively. What I mean by that is that, if you're spending your entire day on landing pages and building websites and designing logos, where are you generating income out of that, right? So that's vital. The one that spends more time on the right things. So, for example, engaging in conversation, building relationships, sending out messages, whether it's inbound or outbound, whether you're DMing or whatever the case may be, but you're engaging in those activities that is going to present an opportunity for somebody to raise their hands or raise their hand for your services. If you spend more of that, spend more engaging in those kind of activities, you have a higher chance of getting somebody to acquire your services and pay you to coach them or to purchase your service, etc. Right? Why else do you need this? To minimize distractions. We are all distracted. We live in an age of distraction. There's information all over, right? Pinging on my laptop is a distraction, right? But my cell phone, and then what happens is you pick up a phone and you start scrolling. Do you know that it was a study done, and on average, people waste close to 2 hours on mindless scrolling on social media. So imagine what you could do with those 2 hours, engaging in conversation. How many calls could you potentially be booking, right? How much feedback are you able to get back from people that have responded to your messages or asked you questions about your product? I mean, how do we improve, right? Cool. You want to stay organized, because if you're not organized and everything's all over the place, then your results can be all over the place, right? So that's the other thing, right? Is to be highly organized in what you do on a daily basis, right? Manage time effectively, meaning, again, how much time am I spending on what? How much time? Look, admin, doing landing pages, logos, and those things, they are important, and they have a time and a place for that. But allocate reasonable time and not unnecessary time and wasted time on things that's not going to move your business forward right now. So prioritizing the time that you use, right? Cool. And then, of course, looking for continuous ways to improve, right? And a simple example, as I mentioned earlier, if you're spending enough time engaging in conversation and you're able to then pick up patterns or trends or the kind of feedback that's being provided through the conversations, that is an opportunity for you to look at it and say, hey, I can improve. But if you're not spending enough time on key activities that's going to grow the business, key activities that generate income for the business, key activities when you're having conversation with people, how are you going to know where to improve? You're spending too much time on logos and or faffing around or scrolling mindlessly on social media, right? The thing is, we need to become laser focused and prioritize on the right things in order for us to improve and grow. Keeping healthy, what's the work-life balance, right? Going all in, working long hours, burning the candle on both ends is going to serve you no good, because it impacts your productivity level for the next day. When you're feeling exhausted and tired, it impacts your ability to make decisions. It impacts your ability to do things at speed. It impacts your ability to think clearly. Burnout, brain fog, fatigue, all of those things leads to procrastination, leads to fear and anxiety and self-doubt and limiting beliefs. You want to make sure that if you are structured and orderly and you have a high-performance daily workflow, you avoid things like it, because you proactively planned how you run your day every single day. So keep that in mind, right? End of the day is to make more sales. And the only way we're going to make more sales is to be in control of the things that we do consistently every day and how much time we spend on it. And making sure that we structure our day that lends us or and fosters those kind of opportunities, right? So what are the common mistakes, right? Procrastination. Most coaches and entrepreneurs and online entrepreneurs and consultants struggle with procrastination. I do as well, but it's having the ability to ensure that you set yourself up, set up the environment that mitigates those kind of situations. Take your phone, stick it, hide it in the room. If it's in a noisy environment and there are a lot of people coming in and out in your home, if you are working from, then move to another space that ensures that you are undistracted. Because when you're distracted, we procrastinate. When we are fearful, when we lack clarity on the things that we should be doing, when we don't understand why we're doing these things, it leads us to procrastinate. So when we set up our structure and we have a workflow that is standardized, it helps us eliminate those kind of situations. It will never go away completely, but you'll be more in control of that because your day allows you to be more in control, right? Multitasking, probably the worst thing that you can do. Some people are good at it. Most people are not. I am pretty shocking at that. I don't even try. I still struggle with it at times because I'm jumping from here to there to there. But I've come to the realization that it's serving me no good because I'm not putting enough attention and focus on certain activities, which means I'm not giving it my best. And it ends up, being very mediocre work, right? So multitasking, focus on one thing at a time and schedule them accordingly, right? Lack of focus is a result, again, of not being orderly and structured and allowing things like, multitasking and all of the distractions and notifications and all of that easily distracts us and steers away from the things that we should be doing and being laser focused on what we're doing right now, right? Failure to prioritize, to identify what is more important. I mean, you look at it this way. If you've got a long ass to-do list and you've got 1 to 20, and you just got all of these items listed in there, business and personal things all jumbled up in there. I guarantee you the chances of you getting through that entire list is significantly low. Significantly low. And you have to be honest with me. You can comment and tell me if I'm telling any lies, but it's the truth, right? As opposed to taking that list and categorizing them in those 4 key performance blocks, which I'll touch on a little bit later, right? Cool. Okay. So failure to prioritize on what is important. If you're spending time on BS, then you're going to get out BS. Bottom line, right? Burnout. I touched on that early on, just taking care of your health, right? Burnout is a result of a culmination of things: overwhelm, fatigue, procrastination, lack of energy. All of those things has an impact on our ability to perform, right? When they stack up, all those negative things stack up, it leads to burnout. So when you have control again of your agenda, when you have structure and order, when you take care of yourself, mentally, physically, and emotionally, you avoid situations like burnout. When you take time to relax, take regular breaks, etc., then you are consistently in more control. Because if you lead to stages of burnout, you're out for a couple of days maybe, or you're not spending enough hours on certain days on key activities, it impacts the growth of your business. So what's the point of burning the candle on both ends and then stacking up all of these things, right? Inadequate planning, right? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You've heard this, right? And it's so true. You want to be clear about what you want to do tomorrow. What is your plan tomorrow? Why are you doing this? What is the objective? What are you trying to achieve out of this goal, out of this plan? What is the idea around that? When you intentionally do these things, it becomes a lot more easier to action because you understand why you're doing it and what's the objective and the goals around it. Okay, cool. And then not taking enough time to reflect on what happened for the day. What can I improve? What can I tweak? How much time did I spend on it? Now, this is all striving for excellence, guys. This is the tools. This is the methods. This is the way that people like Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, Oprah, Brendan Mashard, James Clear, the Atomic Habits guy. I mean, these are just a few people that I've mentioned. And even the 6-figure, 7-figure earners within the coaching industry live and die by this, because it allows them to optimize their entire life and efficiently and effectively execute it at a high level, at a high standard, consistently, because that's high performance. It's operating at a higher level that you are worthy of and that you deserve to be consistently for the long term. Not on, off, peaks and troughs, weeks in, weeks off. No, not that way. Cool. Okay. So high performance, the 4 key performance blocks. This is how you should essentially run your day. Now, this is not to box you in, but this is really to standardize key things that you're going to do in certain parts of the day so that you as an individual optimize and run your business successfully. Because remember, you are the captain of your ship and you're responsible for everything within your business. You are actually the jack of all trades, and in some cases, probably the master of none. But when you are starting out, when you are a solopreneur, when you don't have a team of people to help you with other things in your business, you have to do everything, which means that you need to prioritize things in the right way. So morning routine, deep work, shallow work, and evening routine. And I'll touch on that example below right here. Okay. So this is my kind of typical example, the way that I structure my day and the way that I live. This is the way that I behave. I have my morning routine, which involves a bit of stretching, a bit of meditation, some journaling, reading, or podcast. And this allows me to fire up this engine. Let's fire up this engine because you are responsible, as I mentioned, you're the captain of the ship, right? And if you're the captain of the ship, you need all the energy, all the focus, the clear thinking, clear mind, and the desire, and the motivation, and the willpower, and the discipline, all of that you need to consistently do this every single day, because some of these things are boring, but you have to keep powering on. So structure your day that allows you to do that. So fire up the engine nicely. Don't just wake up crazy. Hey, wake up, have a shower, coffee, bang, sit at your laptop, and start doing things. And then procrastinate in between, and then a bit of distractions and all of that shit in between. All right. So that's how I would do some of my stuff in the morning to fire me up. And I can tell you now, this structure, as I mentioned earlier, all the high achievers, CEOs, millionaires, six-figure earners, the celebs out there operate their day in this format, right? I spend some time a bit with the family in the mornings because I've got 3 kids. So I need to take care of them, breakfast, get them to school. Then I would go and do my physical workout, exercise in the morning. That's to fire me up physically. It's part of what I do. I've been doing that for years. It's just what I do and keeps me going. My deep work blocks are around about 8:45 to about 1:30. And again, I focus on a lot of having conversations, building relationships, getting people to, join my community and respond to people and comment on people, or at least engage with people that have commented on my post where I potentially have added value. So I spend a lot of my time around that. I'll then, to the latter part of the deep work section, focus on creating content videos that would get people to raise their hands, that will add value to people's lives, and will give people quick wins that they can implement in their business and in their life right now. Cool. Then there's a school run, and then I have a bit of quick lunch. I have a quick break there, and then I've got my shallow work stuff. So I'll focus on things that requires less brain power, right? So shallow work, I'll do sales calls, meetings, coaching calls sometimes, and check some emails and those kind of stuff, right? In the evening routine, wind down. So I have a hard stop around about 5:30-ish. And then it's family time. Dinner, chat with the kids, play a little with them, do a bit of homework, and then get them to bed. So it's a very short little period for all of that happening. And then just before I go to bed, I will take a few moments to kind of just think about, okay, what happened today? What do I need to change? What do I need to improve? Now, keep in mind that you don't want to look at the things that did not work out pretty well from a place of self-judgment, but rather from a place of learning and how to improve. Because the minute we start telling ourselves those kind of things, it's not very beneficial for us, because then we're telling ourselves that we're not worthy, or we're not good enough, or we don't follow through kind of stuff. So that's not something we want to do, right? Cool. Then proactive planning. What am I doing tomorrow, right? Be intentional about what you're doing tomorrow. What's my plan? What do I want to achieve? What's my objective? High performance is really about self-regulation. It's about control. It's about being in a state of flow where you really enjoy what you're doing, but it's structured and orderly. And it's about habit formation and just being in charge and being the true captain of your ship. Because if you just kind of start your day haphazardly, and if you're not the captain of your ship and control your agenda, then it's going to be the other way around. And if the agenda is controlling you, that means there's no agenda, because who's controlling it? It's just happening. And that's what happens. And the results are just like, if it's haphazard, your approach, if it's not really truly structured and organized, then your results will be a reflection of that, right? Cool. Very, very quickly, on anything that you wish to do, when you embark on a transformation, when you want to really level up and grow your business or start a business, you want to take a moment to take stock of what has happened. Also, not only if you're just starting out, but even if you are at a certain stage in your business and you're kind of stuck, or you're not quite, you want to scale, take a moment and reflect on your time from the time that you wake up to the time that you go to bed. How much time am I spending on what by hour? What are the activities I have through my entire day? And then you label and say, right, okay, what is revenue generating activities? What is personal? What is time wasted? What is faffing around, etc. and so on. And I promise you, you are going to discover some information that could shock you and say, hey, you know what? I might be wasting a lot of time on things that are just not moving me forward. And why is that? Why? And you need to unpack that. It could be fear, self-doubt, limiting beliefs. It could be a whole bunch of things. And you want to get past that hurdle, because if you're going to continue doing the cycle of just much of the same and expecting a different result, it's not going to happen. So be mindful of those things and really be honest with yourself, because if you're not going to be honest with yourself, you might just be fooling yourself in trying to grow business or trying to serve people or coach people or provide your products or service to people. You might be just wasting your time entirely because you're going about it the completely wrong way. Get your head right, get your head in the game, and everything will change. Right. So I got a goal audit tool. Let me just show you what that looks like. Just open that up. Okay, cool. All right. I'm sure you guys can see that. You can just give me a thumbs up if you can. The idea around this is, again, to take stock of the things, the goals that you've set out. How much time have you spent on it? And, the this is really a reflection point. Again, so you can use this template, you can create your own one, you can really write it down by hour, put it in a spreadsheet. There's different ways you can do that. And you also want to look at time of day, like when are you more productive? Is it morning, midday, afternoon, or evenings, etc.? And then you want to create your action plan for your next goals, right? And what is your time that you want to spend on it, or your intended time, etc., and so on. But the idea around this is really to take stock of where you were in terms of the goals that you've tried to achieve, and what's your move next. What's the next move going forward, right? Cool. Again, coming back to, all right. Okay, cool. So how can you set up a high performance daily workflow? Very simply, right? You want to prioritize key tasks, and that could be things like, when you're going to have your sales calls, your coaching calls, whether it's one-on-one, when it's group, when you're going to do your admin, etc. and so on. So you want to prioritize your tasks at the right time block so that they are optimized for performance, right? You want to set your daily goals, right? What do I want to achieve tomorrow, right? So I want to make 10 sales calls per day, or, acquire 5 new clients, or, send out 50 messages, whatever that might be. But you want to set your daily goals, or I want to create 2 videos, and this is the topics, etc. and so on, right? You want to allocate time for these things. You want to block out time for these things. So coming back to the 4 key performance blocks: morning routine, deep work, etc., shallow work, and so on. So you want to utilize that. And then, of course, if you want to do things that are repetitive tasks, like posting and those things, there are tools like Hootsuite, Repurpose, etc. There are CRM tools. I use a tool where I send out broadcast messages to invite people to my group, to notify people about my free training, etc., and so on. So I do those kind of things as well, and I use that to automate that. So I can spend more time on creating value, training videos, putting out content that gets people to raise their hands, putting out content that gets people to have quick wins that they can immediately implement in the growth of their business, right? Again, staying organized. So you want to use things like Calendly as well for, managing appointments and all of those bits and bobs. But calendar to schedule your appointments, schedule your activities. When it's scheduled, the chances of you doing it is higher. To where you can follow up on certain tasks, or you look at tools that help you also stay organized. There's project management tools like Trello and so on. But I mean, you can use the old-fashioned Google Sheets as well, right? And then make time to continuously evaluate. And again, you can either do it daily. I prefer to do it most days in the week, or you could do it on a weekly basis and say, okay, cool. No, but then you have to note these things, like, okay, note them down every day. So I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I didn't do that. What were the reasons? How do I change it, etc. and so on. But again, you need to also be a bit of flexibility in your life as well, so that you can manage this more effectively. Right, cool. How does all of this equate to money? Well, increased productivity will definitely result in more sales, because you're spending more time on the right things, more time spent on revenue generating activities. You improve your focus and decision making, because again, you're more structured, you're more orderly, you're more in control. Again, why do we struggle with decisions and productivity and that? Because when we're overwhelmed and we've got too many things all moving around within our business, too many strategies, too many distractions, too many shiny object bullshit and free training like this. Well, but what I'm saying is, be laser focused, choose key things and stick to those, and then keep moving forward. All right. Better customer service. What does it mean? It means that you schedule key times that you provide and respond to your customers at reasonable times, and that you manage the expectations. Say, hey, listen, I'm available generally to respond to any queries on these days, or most days around this time. So, you can access, you can get access to me, as an example, right? Better goal attainment, because when you are in control of what you're doing every single day, and that it's aligned with your goals, the chances of you achieving their goals is significantly higher, as opposed to no plan, no structure, and you've got all of his goals. Then what? Right? The 2 things that will make you highly successful in achieving your goals. One is a strong desire, and that's another topic that I'll talk about, the 7 levels of deep why, all right? And then how. What am I doing every single day that's going to bring me closer to achieving my goals? What steps, actionable steps, tasks, and activities have I put in place every single day to help me achieve that? That's all you need. That's it. Cool. Right. And then managing priorities and deadlines, etc. and so on. Again, having structure, having order, when you do key things, when you schedule them at the times that they need to be scheduled, you'll be able to manage deadlines a lot more smarter and smoothly. All right, I'm going to jump into the very, very quickly. It's a self-mastery performance tool. Now, when you look at this, you're like, hey, this is quite overwhelming, right? If you're striving for excellence, if you really want to be on top of your game, then this tool is to help you develop the reps, right? Now, there was a couple of studies that was done, and there's different viewpoints about when somebody is trying to form or introduce new habits. All right. Firstly, to undo a bad habit, 21 days. To introduce a new habit, or to, form a new habit, 67 days. Right. There's different viewpoints around that. But what it comes down to out of all of that is the frequency of that specific habit that you do. The frequency, the amount of reps that you're putting in every single day. I'll give an example, right? If you've got a guy that's spending an hour average Monday to Saturday engaging in revenue generating activities, things like having conversation, inbound, outbound, etc., and so on. So just around that, or everything around traffic and being in a position where people potentially could raise their hands for your services, right? They're spending an hour versus somebody that spends 2 to 3, maybe even 4 hours a day on that same activities. Who do you think is going to be much better at doing their job, at acquiring more customers, at getting more people to raise their hands, at getting more feedback about their services, about the way they're engaging with people, the kind of messages that they're putting out, the kind of conversations that they're having? Of course, the one that's putting in more reps. That's the aim of the game, right? But again, you want to do it slowly so that it can be part of who you are every single day, right? And everything we do is about behavior change, right? So if you want to be a 6-figure, 7-figure coach, or a millionaire coach, or an entrepreneur, if that's one of your goals, then you need to behave in that way and do the things that is aligned with that, right? So anyway, let me just come into this bit here. So clients that join my self-mastery program will get access to these kind of tools. I am working on a tool that I will give you access to for free. I'm still working on it. It's more of a watered down version. This one took me a lot of time and a lot of effort, and back and forth, etc., and so on. But the purpose of this really is, again, it's broken up into the different blocks, as I mentioned earlier: morning routine, deep work, midday / shallow work period, end of day or evening routine. And end of day is just when you have your hot stop, but then the evening routine and the different activities that you're doing there. And you've got some drop downs that you can kind of list, the different things that you can do. And then at the bottom here, you can actually go and add in the things that you want to do yourself, right? And, you could slowly start, so right, okay, cool. I'm going to do no phone, hydrates is the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to do maybe a better, let's do a podcast as an example. And you don't have to do 5 activities. You could do 1 activity, you could do 2 activities, etc. But the aim of the game is that as the weeks go by, you want to add in another activity and another activity and slowly introduce that. But it's not only just about introducing all of these activities. You need to set up your environment that encourages this and makes it easy and obvious for you to do these kind of things, makes it satisfying, and that you also want to look at kind of rewards as well. That's, again, another topic that I'm going to talk about, which is a habits masterclass that I'm planning. So keep following me and keep a lookout for those kind of things. And we've got all of these different categories. Life management. So like your vision, your values, you want to note these things. What limiting beliefs do you experience? What are your goals? What are you trying to achieve, right? There's, your health, when you're taking breaks, quarterly breaks, and you get some scores when you start choosing these things. Again, as I said, our paying clients get access to this. But the idea around these tools is to take you to the next level of high performance and achieving a certain stand of self-mastery, right? But every week, as you start ticking off these blocks, you get some scores and you can see your improvement, after, let's just say, 1 week. Obviously, the data will be a lot lower. Then it goes into week 2, etc., and so on and so on. At the end of the day, you're going to get into a position where you're not going to need to track yourself to this extent. This is really to help you get to a stage of self-mastery. And self-mastery is ongoing, but to get to a certain level of self-mastery, that you wouldn't need this document to track and monitor your progress in these different areas of your life. Because eventually it's become who you are. It's part of your identity. That's the aim. but you could always come back and refer to that. But anyway, I thought I'd like to share this with you. I am creating a slightly more simpler version, and I will share that to you guys completely free. All right, that's my promise. Just give me some time. Anyway, so let me come back to this here. So I hope, guys, this was of value to you. Please comment, please share with anyone out there that would benefit from this, that can help them grow. If you feel that there's something that I've missed or that I might not have adequately explained, I'm human. I do make some errors as well. So I'm always there to learn. I'm not going to stand and profess that I know all the answers. And, everything that I coach and teach is what I've learned and what I continue to learn from people like Brendan Machad, people like joining their programs and learning from them, people like James Clear, mindset coaches, etc., and so on, that I have over the years and through reading multiples and multiples of books, over the years. And my high passion, this is, I don't know if you can see that, I got all, you can't see that, sorry, I got a stack of books. I'm constantly learning to improve, and makes your life a little bit easier to have access to, this information in a more condensed version and in a more practical way. So comment, share, like, and anything you feel that you need more improvement on, reach out to me. That's my aim. And my goal in life is to help make more successful and high achievers out there in the world. Thank you.